I feel like I need to I keep getting myself, because I'm an old geriatric woman, I need to sort of, do it, I'm not quite sure this is how I should be sitting.
Your dignity's covered, don't worry.
Well, it is, but in the granny blanket, everybody was like, do you have to slouch in that chair? I watched it on YouTube one night. It's like, do you have to slouch in that chair? I'm like...
But you can't do anything.
I'm literally like...
I think these chairs do make... I feel like we go on about them. It makes you feel like you are just sitting...
People loved them. They went down a storm at North Sheep.
Oh my gosh, obsessed.
People loved coming and sitting in our chairs. Cammy even sat in our chair.
Yeah, when we weren't there.
Yeah, I know. I knew there was them boots.
We knew.
We knew someone had been in.
Well, we're back. Wilson and Ashley.
Yes.
Episode 8, I think we're on now. Couple of topics today. A TikTok video from B Frank Health. This lady visited Clarkson's farm, said it was expensive, but actually there's a good reason why. And then Will Evans wrote a piece for Farmers Weekly about influencers.
Yes.
And got a couple of opinions, to be honest.
So us opinions? Never.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. The Wilson and Ashley show. Sorry, I'll stop it now.
I wonder if I should play this video or not. It's not long. Should I play it?
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting. Let's listen to B Frank Health.
Not my usual kind of content.
Did you come across this?
No, the algorithm knows it's serving me well.
I have something to say about the prices in Jeremy Clarkson's pub, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to defend him because he is serving up real British quality food in his pub, and that is the price of it. We have such a skewed view on food and the cost of food and the value of food nowadays because we have allowed huge ultra-processed food companies to flood the market. And it has completely given us a false sense of security around the prices of food. They are products. They are food-like products, food-like substances that we are eating, that we're going to the supermarket and we're thinking our food, and it has skewed the way that we see the cost of what we're eating. Because
now, I just think bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
The video goes on a little bit longer. I think she has absolutely nailed it.
It's nice to hear it from non-farming people.
I think it's interesting because when that video first starts, you think, is this going to be a slag off of Jeremy Clarkson for overpricing his food in the
I think
pub?
there was some people did take to online. Or this is the thing, did they take to online, or did a newspaper or a media outlet pick up on it and make a story out of it?
Yes. Did one person say one thing and then...
Yeah, and then they made out like everyone's offended, when in actual fact no one was offended at all. I don't know what the prices are in Jeremy Clarkson's pub, have we?
Yeah, somebody said that they effectively got...
Was it like a pie and chips or something for 22 quid, I want to say?
Which, also, it is in...
It's not that bad.
The Cotswolds, which is, a notoriously expensive place.
Of course it is. And I'm not being funny. You are going to Jeremy Clarkson's pub. You are paying for the experience of going in. You're not just going to the local.
Yes, exactly.
It's a what's the word? A destination pub sort of thing.
And the other thing is, there is a massive, the only emphasis is on British produce. That comes at a cost to make sure that sourcing is the best quality, as local as possible.
And he has made sure it is 100% British, locally sourced produce. Did you see he didn't stock ketchup because he couldn't get British ketchup, and then a company have come up with British ketchup?
Yes, which was fascinating.
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy it.
Well, it's
I don't care how much it is, I am going to buy that ketchup.
Amazing.
As she says, she's skint and got no money, and she's going to spend like a £5 on like a tiny 3 ml bottle of ketchup.
So you can get sausages of the day, mashed carrots, seasonal greens, onions, and Hawkston gravy, £21. Is
that it?
Now,
I'm sorry, what are they whinging about?
The most...
It's 21 quid for a chicken burger at our local pub.
The most expensive thing on there is steak pie.
Obviously, steak.
Mash, carrots, seasonal greens, and Hawkstone gravy is £24.
Where's the issue? If you want McDonald's quality, go to McDonald's.
You can get desserts for £10.50 and a starter £8.50 up to £11.
That's it. I don't know where the issue is.
Now, this is a sample menu, subject to change. Sorry, I should just say that. But that is a very good guide of what the price is.
Yeah, I don't see the issue. I wouldn't say that's expensive.
No.
I don't know who was whinging.
No, so I don't think it's expensive for a start. But also, if you do view it as expensive, is that because of the way in which you view, let's say, whole, nutritious, sustainable, traceable, local, seasonal, whatever words, food, versus how you view, as this lady calls it, products which we see as food? Those ultra processed foods, which are convenient, they are cheaper.
Yeah.
But what are you putting into your body?
We've had this conversation, and I feel we will have it many, many more times. We are a low processed food household, should we say. It's not a label. It's not something that, I even think about. We're very lucky in the fact that we run a farm. We're very lucky to be in this position. We butcher our own animals. We've got a cow ready to go. Pig is ready to go. We've just finished off another. We've got to the end of a pig already.
Really?
Yes, since what's it been? 7 or 8 weeks?
Yes.
7 or 8 weeks, and we've gone through a whole pig, and it wasn't a little one either. So yeah, we're very lucky with what we are able to feed our children, but that does come with a price.
Yes.
Even to us, it will cost us to rear, it will cost us to keep, it will cost us for veterinary attention, it will cost us for everything else that goes with farming. And then obviously you get down to it, it'll cost you with your butchery costs.
Yes.
It'll cost you to take it to the abattoir. And, these things do incur costs even when it's for your personal use. So I don't think Jeremy Clarkson's pub sounds expensive at all.
No. Well, what was interesting is that I read some research which was published in July 2024. It was in the European Journal of Nutrition, and the researchers were from Cambridge and Bristol universities. And
they must be good then if they went there. They must be good.
This research found that a mean of 66%, so an average of 66% of adolescents' energy intake came from UPF, so ultra-processed food.
Stop it.
UPFs vary greatly. This is word for word. UPFs vary greatly, but tend to indicate poor dietary quality with higher levels of added sugars, saturated fat and sodium, as well as decreased fibre, protein and micronutrient content. They have been suggested as one of the key drivers of the global rise in diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes and cancer.
Can we just also add to that, Roy has just come back from I can't believe you just mentioned something like that. Roy's just come back from the dentist this morning, and he said there is a new type of problem with
dental crisis,
and it is did he say children?
Yes.
With poor teeth because of ultra processed foods.
Basically, it's the increased amount of carbohydrates being consumed in ready meals and such like, and obviously carbohydrates are a type of sugar. So, or they have their sugars in them, whichever, I don't know. But, carbohydrates, on the back of packers, it says carbohydrates of which sugars. So obviously it's...
Mini rolls say it on them. Do you want a mini roll?
Do you want some UPF?
Do you want some UPF? I mean, I can get you on.
No, I'm okay, thanks.
All right, then.
We had our nice butcher baker made shortbread jam.
Yes, but so how
but
much?
Cornflakes, are they?
Let's be perfectly honest. So where's my bank normally comes up and says, you've just spent all this money. And I go, £24.15 I spent in the shop for dinner. And I bought 2 ham salad sandwiches, a Scotch egg, 2 sausage rolls, and 3 pieces of, how would you describe them? Cornflakey kind of tray bake stuff.
Cornflake shortbread jam tray bake.
And
That's
that was
a
for
lot
dinner.
of money.
That's a lot of money. Now, would I say that that's offensively expensive? Would I go online and have a rant about that?
No.
No, I wouldn't.
Let's call that.
Do you know why I wouldn't? Because that is a local family who I know. Dad has a farm
Yes.
up on Fellside at Milburn, and all their own animals are utilised in the butcher's shop.
Yeah.
I know them both. They are exceptional people, honestly, really good at rugby. Just say that because honestly, they'd knock shit out of me. Like someone once said, "Do you want to go to rugby?" And I was like, "No." Jenny'd kill me. Like honestly, she would break me in half. Like just wouldn't want to come up against her at all. But yeah, they're brilliant, and at no point would I say that is rant worthy.
Yes, it's money spent on good quality,
and it is good quality.
Well, it was delicious.
So they get their abattoir. They use the same abattoir as we do.
Yes.
For our home.
Well,
stuff.
food miles have got to be pretty low for
It's at Levens,
the stuff that we've consumed.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't reduce the food miles anymore because there's no bloody local abattoirs anymore.
Well,
That's a whole
other
and we're
conversation.
lucky
Yes.
to have one so close.
Absolutely.
No one else has got one that close, really.
No. And that's exactly it. It's where do you... Well, this is a conversation. It's where do you value spending your money? So I'm with you in that I would rather spend more money on the best quality food that I could afford. Plus, I am extremely lucky in the same way as you that we can get a lamb back for the freezer, or we know somebody where we can get a pig back.
When's the last time you got an Indian or a takeaway?
Yeah, well...
When's the last time you got a Chinese? Was it you that told me you'd never had a Chinese until school?
Yes.
Stop it.
Until I was like 17.
Seriously? You'd never had a Chinese?
And then I just had chicken fried rice because I didn't really know what to have. And now, I am going to say it, I bloody love a Chinese. I'm going to say it. I don't care.
Life at school didn't educate you on Chinese food, did it? The one disadvantage of a good education is that you didn't get a Chinese.
I bloody love a Chinese.
Do you?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I could eat one now.
We were never really allowed any kind of...
No.
I think to go to McDonald's for us when we were kids was a birthday treat.
Well, you know what I'm like now? If we're driving anywhere to go to McDonald's, because if we've been away overnight, I would try and take a picnic with me in the car. I know that sounds so tragic, but I don't like...
Listen, you took a cold pizza to the Yorkshire show wrapped up in tinfoil.
I said to my mum, because we were talking about what do we want in our picnic for the Yorkshire show, because it's only next week.
Stop it. Is it next week? Are we going on Wednesday?
Well, hold on. This episode will be out on the Tuesday of the show.
So we're there tomorrow. No, that's weird to say, isn't it?
No, are you not there on the Tuesday?
Are we on Tuesday?
Hopefully the Tuesday.
And whenever.
Obviously not that we're transferring tickets or anything.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Rebecca's tickets are way better than ours.
But I said to my mum, I said, well, yeah, maybe, some ham sandwich or something. But I said, it wouldn't be the Yorkshire show if we don't take cold pizza.
I know. And then Roy, we went to, we were doing a live stream somewhere, weren't we?
Yes.
Where were we? I can't remember. Anyway, Roy wanted to basically take the absolute PISS out of Rebecca and he cooked a pizza. Bear in mind, we have loads to do before we go anywhere. Like, it's not like we're leaving anyone here. We're, all the jobs are to do. And he cooked this cold pizza, but then figured out that we didn't have any tinfoil. So he proper kicked off. He was so cross that he'd cooked this cold pizza and gone through all of this process of wanting to annoy you. And then he had to wrap it in cling film and it went sweaty. And he was fuming with himself. And he was like, it's not going to look the same when I pull out a pizza wrapped in cling film. And I was like, is this an actual conversation that we're having?
I cannot, for the life of me, remember how we got... Well, to be fair, pizzas, UPFs, not good for you, Charlotte.
and listen, I'll draw the line at an Aldi pizza where everyone's got to have a couple of them in.
But to be fair, it's interesting. Maybe I have perhaps a bit more of the luxury of time or whatever you want to call it, because last night I made pizzas. I made the tomato sauce which goes on them. Obviously I did buy the cheese because I wasn't going to, ferment my own cheese or whatever you do with it. But,
do you want to? Because, I'll tell you, it's easy to do. I am a pro at fermented milk. I actually have a cheese maker. I might have a
Do
go.
you? Oh my gosh, do it.
Yeah, it'll make like an Italian soft cheese.
Like a burrata.
Yeah. It's a do you know, I'll do it just because I've never had a go, but I've got all the stuff. A lady called Hillary, she brought it round for me. She was having a bit of a clear out, and she said she wants to just minimise. She's getting. I don't want to say she's getting older because that's rude, but in her words, she was trying to minimise the clutter in her life, and not commit to so many hobbies. So she was trying to clear out her hobbies. So she brought me all the cheese making stuff, which I'm very grateful for.
Yes, you must do it. You must do it. I, as I said, I literally can't remember how we got onto that, but I'm going to try and bring us back on track somewhere.
Something to do with an article.
Yeah, we watched this video on TikTok this one time.
One time at band camp, a bear came.
I've never actually seen that film. I couldn't even tell you what film it is, but I have heard this one
American
time.
Pie.
Yeah, I've seen
You've
it.
never seen American Pie. I think it's a bit of like you would only enjoy it if you were 15. 16.
I see.
Do you know what I mean? I think if I watched it now, I'd just be a bit like nostalgia would take over and I'd find it hilarious, but only because I watched it when I was a kid.
Okay, yes.
I think if you were to watch it fresh now, you'd go, that's disgusting. Like, I can't believe that.
Okay, so maybe don't watch it.
And to be honest, if you watched it now, is it Jennifer Coolidge?
Charlotte, why are you looking at me as though I would know?
You know, Stifler's mum.
No.
Stop right now. Thank you very much. I need somebody with Jennifer. Yeah, she was Stifler's mum, and she was meant to be. She's the same age as me in the film, but she was meant to be like the like the MILF.
Who's like 50?
Yeah, but she's not. She's the same age as me. She was 38.
No, I thought you were like 33 or something.
Yes, no, it's going down. Sorry, we've gone another year now. Oh my God. No, she's literally the same age as me in the film. So I always used to think when I was younger that she was a 50-year-old. She wasn't.
No.
She was like a 30-year-old.
No, they're faking
Anyway,
it.
she ends up getting it on with one of the lads at school. Well, I'm sorry, that's actually not appropriate these days, and you can't really joke about that kind of thing anymore. So there's many things I think that, yeah. How the hell did we just get onto American Pie?
This one time.
Oh, there you go. This is meant to be a sensible episode.
Right, I'm just going to go straight back into it.
Yep.
Put a little bit of music in here if you want, Charlotte. Nice little...
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
According to the Office of National Statistics...
Stop it, did you just do that?
No, we were talking about what we value when we're buying stuff. So yes. I would value buying, hopefully, as good quality food as I can afford. We're lucky on the meat front. We're lucky in the garden space that we have. And I've always said, well, I would enjoy gardening if I had the time. It's less enjoyable at 10 o'clock when you have to start watering your seedlings or hoeing the garden.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about gardening. Yours is you gardening is not a fashionable hobby. It's not something you've just taken up. You garden for the food.
Well, this is exactly
I don't think you can call it gardening. It's sort of like micro farming.
I'm not going to lie, it does look pretty immaculate at the moment.
Does it?
I've got 4 courgette plants, which are thriving.
Oh.
I've got lettuce. I'm going to try and remember the lettuce, spinach, spring onions, carrots, white onion sets, red onion sets, a few pak choy, because Henry wanted pak choy.
Why?
I'm going to try and cook them this evening.
Why?
I'm going to make a stir fry.
Oh, nice. Yes, okay.
And then dwarf beans.
I grew pak choy once. I didn't even know what to do with it.
No, well,
no, just let
I'm
it
going to
die.
try. I'll just Google a recipe. Dwarf beans and then potatoes.
That is amazing. But
and
you try and avoid buying veg.
Yes.
You're not doing it because you're growing a few tomatoes and posting pictures of it. You literally grow it because you don't buy the veg.
Exactly. And I 100% think it's like farming, as I say, it's not to be fashionable, but farming, there is pride in producing something which is nutritious, well-grown, whatever, and producing it and eating it.
But it's funny, you don't talk about it.
No.
Like you are growing on and especially at your parents' house, you are growing on a mass scale.
Yes. Well, my mum's even, because she's got even more space than I do, it is 100%
amazing.
to save money.
Yeah.
But it requires a lot of time, but it's to save money.
Yeah.
And that's the simple fact. But what the statistic I was going to draw on, Charlotte.
Oh, there was a statistic, was there?
There actually was. In 1957, the average household spend on food was 33% of income. In 22-23, it was just 11% of household income.
Did you ever watch the video of over time of people's shopping habits changing?
No.
And it was people putting boxes out. It was very interesting. I'm sure I've sent it to us to use in an episode
to our
like
episode
this.
thing.
Yeah, I'm sure I saved it. It was very interesting. Mm-hmm. You'll have to bear with.
But basically, that statistic means that in terms of globally, we're similar to other high-income nations, but we're among the lowest globally of how much household income goes on food. Interestingly, in Eastern Europe, countries like Poland, Romania, Estonia, they spend 19 to 26% of their household income on food. And then I guess you have countries like Nigeria, Kenya, Pakistan, they're spending 40 to 56% of their income on food. So I think it just shows, I don't know, is that the difference between luxury and necessity? What people in, I guess, perhaps poorer countries, food is a necessity. There's a lot of things which are luxury, which are simply...
We're just spoilt, aren't we?
Yeah.
Especially, we are.
So question, but kind of a statement, we don't put enough value on what we're feeding our bodies. Because if we did, surely the newest iPhone or the newest TV or the newest car would go out of the window, or that shopping haul, or those new shoes.
It used to. That's the point, though. It did used to. And it's interesting. I'm not saying this anything to do with immigrants. I'm just using this as an example of what I've heard somebody say. They say about, all the lads that come over on the boats, etc. They've all got new Nike trainers and brand new phones.
Interesting.
And I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that's something that sprung to my mind about people that supposedly have nothing, and yet those are their. That's what. Yeah, they've got the mobile phone contracts, or people that have very little have a mobile phone contract. I mean, yeah, I don't know whether it's just that we're very spoilt. There it is. I'll play it over the screen.
Yes.
Just so everybody can see it.
Why are we still doing...
This represents not just fruit and veg, but all the spending of a household in 1980 on ingredients. So this would also be oil, salt, sugar, meat.
That's exactly right.
So how much were people spending on convenience-ready foods?
So the studies show that 58% of household expenditure on food in 1980 was essentially spent on ingredients, fresh ingredients to make home-cooked meals, as opposed to 26% of household spending on food, which was spent on convenience food.
But look what happened next. Over the following 20 years, our spending on fresh ingredients shrank to just 28%, whilst our spending on convenience foods almost doubled to 44%.
When you lay it out like this, it's a spectacular transformation. This goes from being the majority of our diet to that entirely different category of food being the majority of our diet.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Represents not just fruit and veg, but all the spending of a house.
Majority
of our diet. Absolutely. What's happening to
obesity? One thing that was interesting in when I was reading, over COVID, we spent more household income on food.
Yes.
And that was suggestions
Do you think people
were
had more time to cook properly?
more time and more inclination to cook.
Well,
to
as
bake.
well, but were they not using the cooking as I have a friend, Nicola, right? God love her. She's amazing. She's a teacher. She lives in a beautiful new build. She has 2 gorgeous children. She just had a baby. Well, not very recently, but she just had a little boy as well. And she is, I'm going to say, the opposite of me in every way. We went to college together. We did childcare together. She obviously did her bit in childcare instead of being kicked out of college like me. She continued on in education. She went to Edge Hill University. She's now a teacher. She's a good, she's doing well. You would see her doing well. Now, Nicola uses, when she used to come before she had children to visit, cooking was an experience. So cooking with a glass of wine and talking.
Perhaps having some music on in the background.
It was a thing. We cook because we need to eat.
Yes.
We cook as fast as possible. We eat and we get back outside.
Yes.
I think people view cooking as very different experiences. I am not one to draw out a cooking experience. I don't look at that as a fun experience or an experience that I enjoy doing. It is a necessity. I cook. It's nothing special. It's, meat and 2 veg most likely. And then we get back outside and do some work.
Yes.
Whereas in COVID, they had more time on their hands. They had more creativity on their hands. They were looking for a way to express themselves a little bit. And I think that probably did come out in the food.
And perhaps actually you've got sons and daughters who were home, moved back into the family home, who had been moved out for 5 years.
Yeah, so it was a family experience.
It was. And some people were furloughed. And if you weren't furloughed, perhaps you were working from home. And actually when work finished at 5 or 6, whatever, but you didn't have an hour's commute and then have to do all your jobs.
Yeah.
You were right there to start the experience. And I think that's a really interesting point.
But would that correlate with the respect for farmers going up with COVID in when everyone was on lockdown?
Well, again, that is a good point because people then did look to the farm shops for those whole foods.
Yeah. And, and there was a marked increase in respect for farming.
Yes.
I mean, we were seen as a key worker at one point.
I don't think they really think that now, but that's a whole nother story. And again, we don't want hero worship as farmers, but a recognition of the role that we play. It is vitally important.
Well, farm work continued, didn't it? We didn't stop.
No. Well,
but also we were lucky in that sense that farm work did continue.
Yeah. And we had the thing that, well, I guess in some sense, the thing which drives us insane day in, day out, stresses us to the max, was also a sense of sanity, which other people didn't have.
A grounding sense of something bigger than yourself when everything else was going to shit. And it was. Mm-hmm. We had this...
Your cow still needed feeding, or that grass still needed mowing.
The sun still shone, it rose, the moon came... The seasons still changed. We were a tiny little part of something massive, and I think it did put everything into context for us farmers. I think it was quite something. Yeah, we were very lucky in that sense. I think it kept a lot of people sane. But equally, I say that other people found it very hard. I'm not taking away from that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, Charlotte, we'll be back in just a minute talking about the word we just love to hate, influencers.
The Wilson and Ashley show.
If we'd said the right word there, I think we basically harmonised, Charlotte.
I know, I think we did.
Right, so a couple of weeks ago now, we read an article by Will Evans in Farmers Weekly about influencers, and it was titled A Guide to Winning Fans and Influencing People.
Would you like me to read it to you?
Should we pick out a few bits?
Should we? Which bits?
So.
Shall I just read it?
Yeah, just read it.
It was a few seconds. Oh, sorry, shall I put on a manly voice?
Oh, hold on. Do like your phone voice.
I don't have a phone voice.
We've talked about this before. I definitely do.
You are just a phone voice. It depends who I'm speaking to. If it's someone really broad, I turn into like a Lancashire lass.
Yes.
My voice changes. Honestly, I am so annoying in the sense it depends who I'm speaking to. If I speak to someone in Scotland, I turn practically Scottish. It's unreal.
I think that's quite normal, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So in Will's article, he says after getting a face full of wheat chaff and ratchet, he began to question his life choices. And with nothing else to do other than mess about on his phone, I began to imagine myself as one of the new gods of the agricultural society, the farming social media influencer. At this point, like, my heckles went up, I won't lie, Will. What kind would I be, I wondered? Perhaps I could build a massive following by ranting into a camera every day, like one of the angry male egos that are so prevalent online. I'd stoke petty grievances and cause as much division as I possibly could, voicing my expert opinion on everything from international trade to inheritance tax, and reveling in being told how marvellous I am by my legion of devoted and similarly angry followers. Then again, no, I don't have the energy for all that. I can't be a scantily clad shepherdess for obvious biological reasons. Plus, my pale skin and dad bod are hardly a recipe for success in that department. Do you know in these articles he talks an awful lot about his body, Will? I seem to think that you have a bit of a complex. But wait, what if there's a fetish for that sort of thing? I'm sure there is. Is there a corner of OnlyFans devoted to middle-aged and slightly rotund farmers posing suggestively in Speedos and wellies, where paying subscribers hand over small fortunes for their daily fix of photos? I'm putting this firmly on the possibles list. Maybe I'll go for one of the cool hipster types with a mullet, a shearing vest, and a pair of those Harley Quinn shorts they're all wearing. I'd bedeck myself in the rest of the young farmer uniform too. Boots made in Australia, gilet made in Germany, a belt made in Argentina, and a jacket made in New Zealand. Only the best. And I'd make copious TikTok videos lecturing the public about the importance of buying British to support our farmers, as we've just done a whole episode on buying British in Ridgeline. The main reason I want to break into the scene, though, is the free stuff. Have you seen the kinds of things these influencers get given? Yes, Will, I got given a tractor. You can't move for them doing promotional work with everything from clothing to machinery, and desperate for a slice of that action. First, Guinness, if you're reading this, I've earned a VIP factory tour in Dublin. At the very least, for my services rendered. So yeah, anyway, this was what I hope was a tongue-in-cheek article, but actually the more I got into it, the more I felt it was very cutting.
I am with you. Even when things are tongue-in-cheek, they're meant to be humorous. Isn't there always a tiny bit of truth in the humour?
Oh no, I completely agree.
Bit.
I completely agree with all of the profiles there. I do.
Now, it feels like...
Am I just cross that I get labelled with the influencer label?
Well, this is it. You know, Will's written this article. Please do not take this as us targeting Will.
No, he's good crack.
But what...
Even though he looks shit in Speedos.
But what I do perhaps think... Is it a wider representation of the view of influencers which people have? So if you are a farming influencer, whether you call yourself an influencer or not, do people think we fall into those categories? I.e., free stuff, the young farmer TikToker, or the OnlyFans, or the male ranting ego?
I mean, I have a ranting ego. It may not be male, but it's there.
Now, those four groups, I think, my personal thought, miss out a group of influencers, content creators, or perhaps just farmers who post online, who aren't interested in all of that stuff, who are perhaps educators. They reach policymakers. They bridge the gap with consumers. And they don't accept every free thing which comes their way. Has Will missed out, and has the wider narrative of influencers, which is why perhaps we hate the word, missed out on a group of people, I would hope we're included in it, who want to do something better and bigger, hopefully, with their Instagram or their YouTube?
When I first started making videos, this was years ago. So what, I would say 2018, 2019. I was always on the internet, but just more of a viewer. I was into, farming influencer voyeurism, should we say. I literally was not directly involved. I did used to contribute in comment sections and things. If Hannah Jackson had put something on, I'd be the first to comment. I thought she was brilliant. I did really enjoy the content creation, but it was never of a scale that it is now. And video wasn't as prevalent. I mean, Instagram was very much picture only. Yes. And then TikTok came along for me. Now, I do have a Twitter following, I can't lie. But it's not necessarily the one that I would enjoy creating on.
Yes.
It's more Twitter's funny. You've got access to politicians, you've got access to social media influencers, you've got access to celebrities, you've got access to Joe Public, I've got access to your dad. Do you know what I mean? Roy's on
Poor
Twitter.
you.
But do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You have got such a breadth of people that are completely different, and all of them have an opinion in, I think it used to be 140 characters. I'm not sure what it is now. And I find that really interesting. Twitter's also good because it's not as censored, so you can kind of call people out very easily. If you don't agree with something, you can say, oh, it's a load of bullshit. I really don't agree with that.
Yes.
But yeah, I do fall into some of his profiling, really. And I don't know why I should find that so offensive.
I think the interesting one for me was the ranting male egos.
Because we get cross about that. I send you people and say, God, have you seen this? What an arsehole.
Well, we kind of, I don't know what word, but we kind of, I say jokingly, call them the disruptors.
Yes.
Because we do find there's a group of people, predominantly male, posting on social media, commenting on social media, sharing things on social media to be deliberately disruptive, to be deliberately inflammatory, to create controversial conversations. And we've talked about that in previous episodes. Those clicks and likes come from controversy. So I completely agree. They do exist, and it's a group of people which we haven't always had particularly pleasant dealings with, shall we say. You might have rants about stuff, but do you fall into a male ego who speaks to their cult of followers?
I don't have a cult of followers, I don't think.
I think talking about the scantily clad shepherdess, well, yeah, God forbid we both go around in shorts and a vest.
Yeah, but it's not that. I send you things and I'm like, Jesus Christ, is there any need for this?
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, it seems to be a common theme. I mean, and in this article, there is literally a picture of OnlyFans.
Yes.
On a screen. I'll put the article up above when we were speaking, when I was talking, so you can see what it actually says. And I think we will be doing an OnlyFans episode because I think it's a really interesting, not an interesting platform as such, but it's an interesting route that people, young girls especially, are being pushed down.
Yes, absolutely. But I still...
And I don't think it's something that, I think it's more of a, oh, that's a shame.
Yes.
I really do feel... I don't know if they feel sorry for themselves, but I feel sorry for them having been pushed down this avenue.
Yes.
You don't have to do that.
Where do you stand on the gifted things? I think that's quite...
Sorry, I nearly swore then. Fucking love it.
I think this is quite a scathing portrayal of influencers, in inverted commas, who accept free things. Now, I think there's a massive spectrum. You get some people who accept every bit of free clothing which comes their way.
How much have you said, this is a different question, how much have you said no to?
More than I've said yes to.
Same here.
However, at the start, when I started doing Instagram, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, can't remember. It was the biggest novelty, and
I know it's fun.
It wasn't as much of a thing to have. Well, it was a bit farming like influencers 3 or 4 years ago.
No, it's a bit really like someone saying, like, "Oh, you've won a competition. I'm going to send you this," and you go, "Oh, yes, get in.
This is it." It felt
it's just a bit of joy in the mundane life that you've got,
and genuinely, what it gave you at that time when you didn't really know what you were doing. You thought, "Oh gosh, I've got a few thousand followers. I can't believe this." And it felt...
It's a bit of validation.
Exactly the word I was going to use. It felt like this company or brand thought that you were a worthy representative of their sweatshirt or their clothing. Then you start to get a few more coming your way and a few more, and you think, oh, is this really why I started my Instagram? Do I want to almost dilute every bit of my farming content, every other post with a new bit of clothing or a new this or a new that? No, I'm not going to say I turn everything down, because I don't. I've worked with some brilliant brands. I've got another partnership coming up soon, which I'm very excited about.
Extremely amazing.
And I'm actually proud of some of these. And I think you've had somebody be very scathing of your... So we both work with Ridgeline. Ridgeline have helped us, basically supported us with this podcast as well.
I've worked, to kind of put it into context. So I have worked with Nigel at Ridgeline, a specific person who's honestly, Uncle Nige, I have so much time for that man now, and that's not through Ridgeline per se. That's because I have time for him as a person.
Yes.
And
he has given the time to you as a person to have a person-to-person relationship.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And it
the
became
brand
it just grew around that.
Yes.
So before Ridgeline kind of blew up in the agricultural sphere, should we say, I was a small creator, let's call me, on TikTok at the time, and I was making silly videos, just trending, just the usual, this is a crush, this does this, this does this. Anyway, Nigel from Ridgeline, at that time, he did all the designing. They honestly...
where they... Yeah.
They did themselves. There was no teams. There was no, multi-departments. It was literally a couple of guys, and they set off and they did their thing, and they did it themselves, and they did it bloody well.
Important to know, because people always like to slag off, oh yeah, Ridgeline, New Zealand.
Oh no, it's just the name. They're in, where are they?
Well, they're done in like Leicestershire.
Yeah, Leicestershire's away. Like honestly, it's just a name. It's not from New Zealand. And the guys who like Nigel's and the guy John, they're not from New. John's actually from Australia, but he lives here. It's just the name. That is it. It's a franchise of, and it's just the name. Nigel came to me and he said, would you like to try out a new jacket? And I said, oh my God, yes, please. So I was honestly cock a hoop about this. I cannot tell you how proud I was that Ridgeline had sent me a jacket, because I'd seen Kate Humble wearing a Ridgeline jacket, and there was a girl on This Farming Life, one of the very early ones, who'd worn one, and I went, oh, I like the look of that big long thing that she's wearing. Didn't know what it was. It hadn't taken off, and it wasn't fashionable. So I wanted one of those. I think they stocked them in Ralph's near me. Anyway, sent me this jacket. I still have it. I will never... you will pry that jacket from my cold dead hands. It is one of my favourite ones. Never went into production, weirdly, but it was one of the best jackets I had. The only problem with it is because it was waterproof, the lining was kind of airproof, and there was no holes in the back of the skirt, the bit that covers your bum. So when you get in a low car, it sounds like you're farting. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but my kids found it absolutely hilarious. So now if you go to your Ridgeline jacket and you look in the bottom of the tail, there's 2 little holes to let the air out. Guess who you can thank for that? But I obviously...
It's a real life partnership.
Took this jacket and I obviously gave feedback on it. I absolutely loved working with Nigel. He came to my house. He's a wonderful person. He runs marathons. He's recently just got into London Marathon and Manchester. So we will be supporting and asking other people for donations on YouTube and Instagram, etc., because it's all for a good cause. But yeah, we've developed this partnership over what now? 2018.
Oh, I was going to say 6 years.
6 or 7 years. Yeah. It's a long time. This is not Ridgeline have just messaged me in my inbox.
A free coat and that's it.
No, I've been working with them a long time, and it started out just, can you try this out for me? Yeah, this partnership's been going on an awful long time, and it started off, will you trial some clothes? So I did. Like, for instance, there was pairs of shorts and things that have been trialed, I've worn and given feedback on. They haven't gone into production, or they did like a small run of them and then they didn't really work, so they didn't do them. There's a couple of pairs of pants and things that were trialed. There's some new waterproof like bib and brace kind of things coming out, things like that. This has been an ongoing partnership, and as such, anybody else who has come forward, and there have been every bloody brand under the sun trying to utilize your following, because that's what happens in social media influencer land.
Yes.
That's what they do. I've said no. Anything that is a direct clash with Ridgeline, gilets, hoodies, that kind of thing.
That kind of outdoor.
Yeah, no.
Clothing.
It is a no. I mean, I messaged you on the other day, didn't I? And showed you, I'd said respectfully, no, because I feel it will be a clash with Ridgeline. Yes. And that for me is where, yes, I think, the free stuff, but I think I have
hopefully more authenticity around it as well.
Yeah, it's hard to put into words, and I'm not that self-righteous type, am I, to think I'm above, the whole thing, but I ain't doing it for the free coats.
I think
if anyone does want a free coat, they'll come to my house because I've loads.
And what I was going to mention is that time that you were quite aggressively slated for your... So we, through Ridgeline, ourselves, other people have discount codes which you can use. Now, this is, again, where I hate it. And I think articles like this perhaps can fuel this hatred of people who get free stuff or have their discount codes. You don't have 75 different discounts. You've got your Ridgeline one. And, well, the hate you received from it... I
get loads of hate. Which bit?
But, you know, when... I can't remember who... Well, not that we're going to say who it was on here. Or maybe we should out them after our last episode, outing the trolls. But basically, the fact that you were selling Ridgeline stuff...
Oh, yes. Oh, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was to do with when it's obviously... I refused for several years to use any discount code. I refused to put it in my bio. I refused to put it in posts. I always had it with Ridgeline that I just wore the clothes and that was enough. And it was enough for them. But they kept saying, you know, you're missing out on literally being paid for the leads that you're bringing in. And I'm like, nah, I can't be arsed with this.
So just explain how an affiliate kind of program works.
So basically they give you a code. Mine would be Charlotte 15, is it? I can't remember. I can't even remember. Charlotte 15, I think it is. And a link. Now, if anybody were to use your discount code, so Becca, is it Becca?
I think it's just Becca, yeah.
Yeah, Becca. Becca 15. If anyone was to use Becca 15 to buy a Ridgeline, you know, item of clothing, Rebecca would get 10.
I think you get 10%.
10% of the commission.
And you get 15% off or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. So, yeah, So anyway, I was going to do this social experiment for no particular reason. And I'd messaged Rebecca and I said, I am going to put a thumbnail up and I'm going to do a video of me with essentially a sports bra on. It was nothing attractive, to be perfectly honest. It wasn't anything special. I'm slightly above my usual weight. I haven't been working out as much, but, you know, bollocks to it. So anyway, did this video of me prancing about with no clothes on, essentially. 1,500 quid commission. That paid, I'm not joking you, that in a time when we're building a dairy, changing the whole system of farming, that paid for my children's Christmas presents.
But you were criticised by an individual who basically said, you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be promoting it. You shouldn't be, you know, using the code, blah, 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 the rest of it. And you actually replied, didn't you, along those lines of, who are you to question me giving my kids the gifts they want for Christmas?
I know, that's exactly it, isn't it? It's a really funny, why is it viewed in a dim light? I don't get it. Feed reps work on commission.
Yes, absolutely. And in other sectors and industries, people, like, I also have, this girl has come up a few times, and I think she was TikTok content creator of the year, maybe even this year. Anyway, she goes off traveling loads, basically gets lots of PR trips to hit literally here, there, and everywhere. And I don't watch her. She's just been to Wimbledon, and Wimbledon invited her. I don't watch
Wimbledon invite me, hint, hint. I mean, how cool would that be?
I know. I don't watch her and begrudge her.
No, I don't.
Watch her and think, bloody hell, good for you. Because also, I think maybe slightly different. She's not trying to promote a whole industry. Like, I mean, not to make us sound like we're some messiah, but we're trying to promote farming, aren't we? As an industry, we're trying to promote what farmers are doing through our social media.
Yeah.
Now, she perhaps doesn't have a wider, more moral goal, apart from she's just doing stuff she enjoys and now she gets gifted things and the trips for free, etc. But I don't see her and begrudge her it.
I went to Italy recently, a couple of months ago, didn't I? And before I went, I thought, this is going to be great. This is going to be so much fun. I mean, what a holiday. I'll tell you, it wasn't a holiday, it was work.
This is it.
Don't get me wrong, it was beautiful. And I mean beautiful. It was work.
But having to create content whilst you're away means you're not relaxing. You're thinking about the next video. You're thinking about, okay, that trip, that location, which shot is good. Oh, I need to make sure I've got my phone charged.
That's like saying people that are filming a film on location are not working. Like it just honestly beggars belief, it really is. But it is what you make it. Yes. And I suppose it's as influencery as you make it.
Yes.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yes.
Like I get offered, I mean, God, I get offered some shite. Electric bikes, mobile phones, weirdly. Rough, tough mobile phones. Honestly, I could, skincare. And do you know what's really annoying? I once, years ago, got offered, and you've used it, haven't you? So I got offered some Korean skincare stuff by Dr. Jar.
Dr. Jar,
I think it was. And I just went, it was before, it was on Instagram. It was before I ever had any kind of following whatsoever. And I thought nothing of it and went, oh, yeah, that's fine. Anyway, I got this stuff thinking it was crap.
It went viral, didn't it? For not a few years ago, for how good it almost was.
Well, I didn't know this. So I left it in the bottom of my makeup case thinking absolutely nothing of it for absolute years. Then all of a sudden, I started using it. Oh my God, it's good.
Amazing.
I now buy it. I wish they'd send it me, but I don't think they will. And because I just thought it was just rubbish. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't even, I had like a bit of because I have really bad skin, it had a bit of like a tea tree kind of smell to it. It was really lovely. Anyway, it's £50 odd a bottle and I now buy it.
Yes. I think this is where the value of influencers can get a little bit diluted. Accepting free stuff willy-nilly and then not committing to a brand that you like, or perhaps it's a brand you've used before.
Well, Roy said this before when we were just discussing this in the kitchen before we started recording. Would you buy it? Have you bought it or would you buy it? Yeah, I would. Would you buy a Ridgeline jacket?
Yes.
Have you bought a Ridgeline t-shirt?
Do you know what? I bought this t-shirt.
There you go.
This t-shirt from Ridgeline.
Yeah.
I bought it because it's an 100% cotton, just nice t-shirt, which does the job.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
And that's it sometimes. And I like to. This is a good example, and I feel like we've rambled for hours, so we will wrap this up. But
I like this conversation. It's fun. It's something that I can talk about without looking at the script.
Stuff like, we don't have a script, everybody, okay? I write a load of statistics. I have been approached by feed and kind of nutrition companies for obviously feeding the sheep. And I've turned them all down because a couple of reasons. One, I'm very happy with how our sheep look and how our lambs look on the nutrition that we are providing. So that's one thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
The other thing is, I very much value the relationship that we have with our feed supplier and our mineral supplier. That relationship has been created by my mum back in the day when we had sheep, and it's been continued now with myself and my sister. And to jeopardise that relationship for a pallet of mineral licks or, some drenches or something for the sheep, to me is not worth it. Farming is about relationships. And if I'd used these products before and could vouch for them, fine. But I think it's a bit different if it's a sweatshirt. But if you are recommending to your followers, you are influencing them to buy a product which you've just been given and you've just chucked it out.
Here's an interesting one. I'm obviously going to stay silent. What would you do if you got a product and used it and you didn't like it?
Now, this is, and we've had a conversation with somebody else. When I say influencer, they are an influence doesn't do it justice. They're a very, very big farming face. And their kind of, I realise I'm not answering the question myself yet, but their kind of perspective was, and they are big enough to say no to everything that ever came their way and they'd be fine, if that makes sense. But they said, if it's something I haven't tried before, I will get back, I'll email them back or call them up and say, look, I'm happy to trial it for, I don't know, some things you could see a difference in a month, but you might need 3 months or 6 months. I'd be happy to trial it. However, if it's not good, I'm not going to post about it.
I know.
Type thing. Now, that is the wisdom of more time on social media than us, a bigger platform than us.
Being bitten.
Yes, exactly.
I think you will only learn after you've been bitten.
And do you know what? Sometimes, and the transparency is, sometimes you can be gifted a free product, but there is also money for the content creation alongside it or whatever. So it's not always about the free product. And sometimes that money...
I think you've got to remember, though, that the fee for doing something like that with a large following is a utilisation of a platform that has a following of X amount.
Yes.
And that's the bit that people seem to be, oh, you're just getting it for free. You're not. You know, the BBC charge people on their viewership fee, like on their figures. That is what happens. So they'll charge, you know, Pantene Pro V X amount for an advert because it's in the middle of Loose Women and it's going to be seen
Not
by
BBC, ITV.
or whoever. I've never watched Loose
BBC
Women.
have the licence fee. That's why they don't have adverts.
The BBC don't have adverts at all.
No.
Stop it.
That's why ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, etc., their adverts fund their...
That's amazing. I forgot that.
Yeah.
But see, we don't watch telly.
No,
That's another episode. We don't watch telly at all. It's bizarre. But yeah, I think influencing is definitely a thing that we could go on about. I think there's so many different avenues of annoyances with it.
We had, a conversation before we started recording. I actually went back to my old school to do a speech, basically. And, you know, when you're thinking, what do I write it on? Anyway, in the programme, my description, the description of me was farmer, podcaster, influencer. And I thought,
Oh, God.
well, I don't really like that, but it's printed. So I thought, well, I'm going to embrace it. And I obviously did
I've
the...
still not managed to actually grow a backbone and embrace it, honestly.
Well, I had to embrace it for the purposes of this speech. I couldn't say, I'm not an influencer and that's it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So...
Not an influencer.
I did my rigmarole of this is what I did, but, you know... And then farmer could explain what that is in easy terms. Podcaster, you can explain what that is in easy terms. And then I said, but influencer, that's quite a hard concept to explain. And I talked about the fact that the traditional view of influencers is basically making people buy things, which I would hope that the work that people like us are doing goes beyond just,
Buy something.
this.
Yeah, definitely.
And then actually talked about the fact that every single person has the ability to influence in any facet of their everyday life. And it can be positive or negative influence as well. And we all perhaps have a responsibility to act in a responsible way.
Do you know, I watched, we had a really crappy night last night, I won't lie. Both tractors broke. One ended up with an oil leak. Both are sorted now. It was just, an O-ring?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, the one tractor was pissing oil out everywhere. No joke, literally 25 litres in an hour. And then the other one, the PTO wouldn't engage. So we were stuck with no tractors, slurry to empty. The cows would just last enough. We'd asked our neighbours Crossrig over here if we could utilise one of their tractors today, and they said, no bother. They're honestly such nice people. Thank you if they ever listen to this. Honestly, we think such a lot of them. And waiting for somebody to come and finish silaging at 11:30 at night to come and empty 2 loads of slurry so that it didn't come up through the robot floors and overflow. I ended up getting into just a dark hole of doom scrolling, and I happened to come across something to do with William and Kate, I think, and Harry and Meghan and all that jazz, and then ended up scrolling through and ended up going on to the Queen, inevitably. And then it was just the Queen's best speeches, and she once gave a speech, and it seemed to be an awful long time ago, and she said, we're like people throwing pebbles into a river or a lake. And she said, no matter how big or small the pebble is, it still ripples. So you throw a big one in and you can make massive waves. She said, but you can also throw a very small one in. She said, and it still disrupts the surface of the water. And that I found really interesting, that we can all influence in our own little ways, to the point that I spoke to, a lad this morning baling, and I said, this tractor looks really smart. It looks so good on this baler. It was like a Lely baler and a massive tractor. It just looked really smart driving around the field. He has influenced me into potentially looking twice at a different brand of tractor.
Yes.
And I'm saying that just because purely Will's mentioned machinery.
Yes.
So in his small way, he has influenced.
Yes.
Without even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
And I just think it's worth bearing in mind just because people post it online.
Yes.
But it's like going back to when we were talking about the Glastonbury episode. It was, when we say, when we were watching the thing on the Palestine and the Israeli kind of conflict, and we said we're only being shown the worst of a bunch of people. I think Will's very much just looking at the worst of a bunch of people. I think influencers can spread far and wide and be of all different types of kind of thing. Whereas the ones that I get cross about are basically the ones that he gets cross about. And they are just the worst bunch of, they're just a small proportion of people out there putting their best foot forward.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that's probably a good time. I don't know how long this episode is going to be, so
1
I'm
hour,
sorry.
11 minutes.
Let's hope there was a bit of faffing time in there. Because apologies if that's 1 hour and 11 minutes. To be honest, if it's 1 hour and 11 minutes and you've made it to the bloody end, I'm impressed.
You deserve a medal.
Well, as always, just get in contact with us if you've got anything interesting, any topics you've seen, just let us know. And you can watch us on YouTube as well. And as Charlotte says, watch the chaos unfold.
Yes. Right, thank you very much for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Love you long time, and we'll see you next time.